Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined in the studio today by Craig Burley and Don Hutchison. I suppose it had to happen at some stage in this tournament. It was a poor match between the Dutch and the French. It had finished 0-0 in the first goalless game of the tournament so far. The Dutch would score in the second half. That would be the only controversial moment where it was chalked off for offside. But in the end, a point apiece. Both teams should be fine to advance to the knockout stages. Frank Leboeuf is with us to give a French perspective, I suppose, on all of this. It wasn't very good, was it, Frank?
It wasn't perfect, far from there, but it wasn't as boring as you just pretended it's been for you. But I think the first half was pretty good. It's true that the beginning of the second half was like that they made a deal in the dressing room, like the draw would be fine for both teams. But after maybe 15-20 minutes, France had some chances to score. Then we saw the Netherlands coming back. We're going to talk about that disallowed goal. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's a good point for both teams. Maybe Netherlands put themselves maybe a little bit more in danger, having to play Austria on the third game.
I came in buzzing for this game as well.
Right, and then...
All right, I said that was a bit of a stretch.
No,
I came in with a spring in my step.
Well, yes, you came in.
And then primarily because the other two games,
yes,
the teams were like, yeah. But actually, you know, to be frank, the Netherlands aren't really that good a side. There's no real expectations of them in this tournament. Maybe in Holland there is. But realistically, there is not much expectation. But somehow the French made them look an OK side today. And I think that says a lot about how France played. Netherlands have their limitations, but were allowed to stay in the game. And you know, both teams, if they had a bit more quality in the final third, obviously could have at least got themselves a goal. But I thought France made Netherlands look a better side than they actually are.
It was lack of quality from both sides, wasn't there?
Don't worry, mate, I'm with you. Terrible game.
Yeah.
And the reason why it was terrible, because it was predictable. Because Holland's back five, for Bruggen in the back four, is probably the strongest in the competition. But midfield, front men, they don't look as though they're going to score. They're not a prolific team. France without Mbappe didn't really have a spark. They had no left side today. It was really weird tactically watching the French set up because Rabiot, as a midfield player, seemed to be the widest player. Dembele had an absolute stinker. Every time we got it, we passed it backwards or give the ball away. So I think the reason why it was a boring game is because we knew after 60 minutes it was going to be a 0-0 draw.
I mean, it was that bad that our colleague, who we absolutely love, Ian Dark...
Right.
But he's working somewhere else at the moment.
OK.
For a short period.
It's never good when you start a sentence like that.
Well, it was so bad, he threw out a question. He's going to want this back. When he said to his co-com, can Holland win this competition? Yeah. We nearly fell off a chair. The game is so bad. Yeah. He's just thrown that out there. But, yeah, it was... look, anything that's a 0-0 now is getting the hammer. Is getting the sledgehammer.
What did you make of the disallowed goal?
It was, for me... It was absolutely crystal clear within the laws of the game because to be offside. Because as soon as we saw the first replay, we all went, never in a month of Sundays is this going to... The only thing that surprised me, and it was English officials, because every other decision at this tournament,
took so
is bish, bash, bosh, offside, VAR, fantastic. Unfussy, European referees, let the English boys come in, they're sitting in VAR going...
What's the law?
I might get my knuckles wrapped for this. He stood here. If Mike Maignan dives this way, he's going to hit Denzel Dumfries.
So he's interfering with play.
It's for me and you, Don.
The laws of the game is plainly obvious. Denzel Dumfries is standing in an offside position. The goalkeeper Mike Maignan sees him. He can't fully dive to his left-hand side because he'll bump into him. Therefore, offside.
Frank, do you agree?
No, I'm not. For the simple reason that if I agree that Dumfries is alongside Maignan, therefore is offside, for me it doesn't interfere because we don't see Maignan trying to go for the ball because the ball goes too fast. Xavi Simons made a screamer and he didn't have the time to react. And I don't see Maignan going for the left side and say, oh, I cannot go because Dumfries is there. I'm blocked. I don't feel that. So it's not clear for me. I hear what the guy says, and it's possible to judge otherwise, and it's why I'm pleased with the decision as a French guy, but I will be a little bit frustrated if I'm a Dutch.
Hey, Ronald Koeman, frustrated afterwards, said that the goal should have stood.
It's absolutely pointless asking managers that feel they've been wronged. Absolutely pointless. The laws of the game state if there is any chance that you're interfering, you cannot give it. Right, now...
Plus, it was given on the field, wasn't it?
Yeah. The on-field decision was correct. It was the VAR, Stuart Atwell, English VAR, who dithered and dallied about the whole thing, and then that's why we're all waiting. But look, if he's a couple of yards away, a goalkeeper makes a really fast goalkeeper, makes a split decision on the straight and he gets down. You can see what he does. Yeah. He does, and then he sees the player and he stops. Yeah. He's always going to be offside.
France, obviously, without Kylian Mbappe, Frank, is it just lazy to say that with him they would have won this?
Not sure about that. I mean, the decision of Didier Deschamps was pretty crucial today where, you know, in reality, he played with three defensive midfielders. Rabiot is more defensive midfielder alongside Tchouaméni and Kanté. So I didn't expect too much offensively, and that's clear that France is struggling right now, finishing actions. Dembélé, yeah, every time he touches the ball, it's like, ooh, something is about to happen. Oh, almost. That's his nickname, almost. It's always almost. Nothing happens, you know. It's always, oh my God, almost. That's what it is with him. And I'm getting frustrated with him because the talent that he has, he cannot finish an action. And he has one shot when he put over the bar. You just have to put your right foot with his left foot, the inside foot to score. And he tried to smash it and put it over the bar. And I said, that's not clever. And it's always almost. So Mbappe could have done maybe better in that specific action, but I'm not even sure because I think Deschamps tried to secure the middle of the park with Rabiot, Tchouaméni, Kanté, and it was pretty sure to at least draw that game, and it may be enough to beat on the last game Poland and go through with the first rank.
You liked Dembele's performance.
Yeah, you were making very frustrated noises throughout the game, Don.
Rated. I think, obviously, when Kylian Mbappe plays, it's not just what he does for the French, he affects the opposition. So Denzel Dumfries, the right back today, realised that he was playing up against Rabiot, who's a midfield player. So the Dutch sort of grew into the game. Once they problem-solved and once they looked at the French tactics, they realised if Dumfries bombs on, he was getting forward an awful lot in and around the hour mark, there was joy for them. Mbappe takes him all the way back. Mbappe stands wide left, he doesn't track back, so therefore he would probably pin Denzel Dumfries back into his position. But Dembele today, after watching like Yamal and watching Nico Williams be so good and so direct and so aggressive, he was way off it today. He was so frustrating.
I'll give it to the French though. As a general rule of thumb in recent years, what they've done is a lot of times they haven't played particularly well, but they've grown into tournaments.
Right.
And that's what
I like that your graphic.
Well, in case anybody doesn't know, I'm giving the trajectory rather than the Scottish trajectory, like off the cliff, like full boon. But and they've done that well, and I suppose that's not a bad trait to have. But if you compare what we witnessed yesterday,
yes,
I think if Spain had been playing Holland today, I think we'd have been, they might not have got a barrel load of goals, but I think Holland would not have had the same sort of possession that Spain would have dominated the game, outpassed them, outplayed them, blah, blah, blah. But the French do grow into things, and they did at the World Cups, and they've done it before. They're not, and I've said this all along, and I said it a week ago, they don't get hung up about entertainment and outplaying people at international level. It's all about results at the end of the day. And that's what Deschamps will be judged on. Of course, Mbappe will make a difference. He looked as if he was bright as a button on the bench. He didn't look as if he was struggling. So expect that little sabbatical to be over very soon. But yeah, there are some frustrating players on the French side. But ultimately, they just see the end game, which is lifting the trophy.
Frank, do you agree we're going to see traditional France growing into a tournament as it goes on?
Yeah, that's I'm 100% sure. I mean, Didier Deschamps is typically the kind of a coach who doesn't care to entertain people. He wants results. Sorry, he played in Italy. He always talked about that. Even when he was a player, he was talking about being strong defensively and scoring one goal more than the others. That's it. 1-0 was enough. That's really Italian at the time, and that's what he does with all the team that he was in charge of. He is very efficient. The way he wants to get the result is not entertaining. That he doesn't care. So you sometimes have something fantastic from Dembélé, Mbappé, Griezmann, whoever, but that's not part of Deschamps' details, I would say.
Would you like to change your pick? So who's going to win it all?
Who was your pick?
France.
France? Well, the most people.
No, I don't think I will, because...
England?
Yeah, Scotland. No, I just think when I watched the French, we were trying to predict the scoreline today, and I never get the feeling that this French side are going to blow someone away 4 or 5-0. I don't see it in them.
Right.
Because I agree with Craig and Frank. I think the end game for them is winning 1-0 and getting the job done, or 2-0. I don't think you'll see them go and smash someone. So, no, I'm not going far away from it. The team that I've been impressed the most has been Spain.
It's going to be interesting in the final round of matches. As I mentioned, it's not all done and dusted. We know for sure, though, Poland are out. They failed, of course, to gain a single point from their opening 2 matches. Austria would beat them 3-1 today in the earlier game to put them very much still in the hunt to go through, Frank. Obviously, Austria against the Dutch is going to be interesting, and Austria showed that they've got some fight today.
Yeah, even if they struggle just before the end of the first half, and where I find that Poland was doing better than them, I think that they have something special, and with their coach, they can change the tactic, they can change the pace of their game, and they still have players like Baumgartner, who scored, I don't want to make a mistake, the third, or I don't know. But I think some players are very accurate, and they can do something very special. So it's a big danger for the Netherlands, but I still put the Netherlands finishing second. But I think Austria, I don't know if Austria get a draw, if they can go through. Well, it's going to be hard for them.
So, fair,
but still, yeah, go on.
Sorry, Frank, I thought you were finished. And I really had nothing interesting to say.
Well, that's not a first.
Apart from when you look at some of the players,
I was going
to
to dive in and try and paint something rosy over that graphic, and then I thought, why bother?
There you go. Don?
Well, apart from when you look at the graphic, they've got some talented players. They're not going to scare anyone, Austria, but they're a decent side, hard-working side. And
obviously they're going to put up a fight against the Dutch, but you've still got the Dutch and the French to go through.
I think so, yeah, I think they'll manage the game.